can you escape the cult you're in, or any abusive situation for that matter? In part 1, the previous video, it shows it's by changing your values. And this video, part 2, is more important in a way because it's about how do you change your values. A quick recap. The first video was about the single most important principle that determines whether you are destined to stay trapped in a cultic controlled position or whether you will escape it. Here is that principle again. A person will leave a cult when the value to escape becomes stronger than the value to stay. So everything hangs on our values. Those things which are most important to us. Values are the pivot which will determine whether we remain trapped or whether we will escape. But first, before I get into how we can change our values, here is something that can really help in understanding our values. It is to realise that the cult we were in, or you are still in, your values have been decided for you by the cult's indoctrination. In effect, you belong to the controller. You are a slave to his or their power over you. I know how it feels from once being trapped in a cult myself. I was completely helpless under the whole package of psychological, mental and physical indoctrination since birth. Next door's dog, by the way. I was bound, gagged and gimped and totally vulnerable to whatever man wanted to do with me, including destroying my family, which is what happened. And this, people having their values decided for them, explains how parents can give up their children for life. Husbands can sack off their wives, wives can sack off their husbands, grandparents can sack off their children and grandchildren, etc. And families get destroyed because they are valuing cultic control from the man or the men they follow higher than their loved ones. He or the leadership own their followers, at least they assume they do, as if anyone was ever to disobey their laws, they will become another number that the cult get rid of and consign to the scrap heap on the ever-growing shunned people pile. That's the value you are to cults that control, which they all do, should you dare not meet their demands. So, it's pretty heavy stuff, isn't it? But just by realising these raw, horrific facts about cult control can really help people shift their values, which is what this video is about. Shifting our values. This is how you escape. So, how can you escape the cult you are in? In video 1, by changing your values. This video, part 2, addresses how do you change your values? Good question. Glad you asked. When I wrote Cult Escape, this chapter took me the longest to write, about a year in fact. In fact, because it had to be hot, it had to be effective. People are trapped and suffering, so please consider sharing this video with anyone who it could possibly help. How can we change our values and escape the cult control we are under? First step is to identify our values. Most people have never really considered what they may be and can be surprised when they find out. Let me tell you a short story to illustrate. A man is driving at night through the countryside, and after an hour of driving he sees no road signs. He realises he is lost. Also, his sat-nav isn't working, there's no reception where he is. So he calls a friend and asks for directions. His friend obviously asks him, "Where are you?" "I've no idea," he replies. "I'm lost. I just need to get home. Should I carry on or turn round, or which direction should I go in?" Without knowing where he is, the friend can't help. Without knowing our values, we can't know what we need to change to get free from. Hello. We are stuck if we don't know what our values are to begin with. So one way of discovering your values is by doing a values realisation exercise, which should reveal why you are where you are. The aim of this exercise is twofold. Number one, to help towards realising your core values, which reveal the real reason why you are where you are today. Number two, to help you come to a place of clear decision whereby we can move on, where you can move on with your life, one way or another. Now this exercise, forgive me if I sound dramatic, is very important, potentially life-changing. It's not to be taken lightly and can't be rushed through in a few minutes. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the whole chapter 23, How to Escape the Cult You Are In, on the Cult Escape website, and put the direct link to it in the description below this video. If you want to do the exercise and discover your core values, just click on the link and have a read. All you will need is a pen and paper and maybe at least 20 minutes of your life and your determination to be ruthlessly honest with yourself. There is a weakness with this exercise though, I admit it, and this is that it is free of charge. And some people don't value things that are free. Although I believe this exercise can seriously help you or anyone with changing their values to enable them to escape their cultic situation, why should you believe me? Well, I have a qualification in psychology and I'm a qualified master life coach. But more than those, I'm a multi-generational cult survivor, born into the strict high-demand exclusive brethren cult and then escaping age 22. Then, can you believe it, I was sucked into another cult and I escaped that after 6.5 years. So I'm twice bitten, thrice shy. But what really motivates me and really gets me is the pain people are going through right now who are trapped, as I was, in religious controlling cults with no way out, it seems to them. Hence this Cult Escape campaign, which is to help those trapped, encourage ex-members towards healing, create awareness for non-cult members and spread a little bit of unconditional love around the world at the same time. This is what I'm attempting to do, and this value realization exercise I'm offering freely can really help anyone who wants to take it, and it's accessible to anyone right now. So a quick summary of what you'll see on the website, link in this video's description. 21 questions enabling you to deeply examine both sides of the issue of whether you will leave the cult or leave your abusive situation, or you stay in it. Questions like, what do you value most about staying? What do you value most about leaving? What benefit would it give you by staying? What benefit would it give you by leaving? As you ask yourself these 21 questions and write down your feelings, you will see what has been most important to you in your life so far. You will easily see if there's any conflict of values. You'll see my top 10 values while I was trapped as an example, and the new top 10 values that I changed which enabled me to escape. And lastly, after answering the 21 questions, you'll be invited to write down your own top 10 current values, followed by the list of values that you would have to change to tip you over into being empowered to escape your current situation. We only do in life what we value the most. So, this exercise is not a science, but it can be a massive help in understanding ourselves and our motivations, which could be a massive help to your life or the life of someone you know, who needs to get out of a situation that's controlling them. And so, lastly, I escaped the first cult I was in when my mind became awakened to two brand new values. One, the fear that in 10 years' time I would be 32, and two, if I didn't take this personal responsibility immediately, I would be guaranteed to be starting another 10 years of misery and unhappiness. The fear of this reality of 10 more years, coupled with the awareness that only I could take responsibility to prevent this, gave me the clarity I needed. It was as if the sun came out and dispersed the fog of my indecision and procrastination. Now I knew what I really wanted, or more to the point, what I didn't want now. Now I could see what values I needed after I changed my values. My new values now empowered me to act single-mindedly, and I was free. Being true to the new values that I realised, looking back now, I can see clearly this is one of the best things I've ever done in my life. So, thank you for watching. The link to the exercise is in the description below. And to help this campaign, please subscribe, like and comment on the video if you can. So thanks again, and I'll see you soon.